Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
What? What's so goddamn funny?
Bro, I was about to get all into it, and then you like came through with the fucking chair scoots. That shit was God.
It was a necessary chair scoot.
I really gotta get the camera back up and going because that shit was crazy, man. Listen. Speaking of crazy, let's get current, cause man, since we've been gone, all kinds of shit has popped off. I'm talking about the BET Awards. People are like, the BET Awards. I'm talking about Juneteenth. What the fuck you mean Juneteenth? The military parade, the No Kings marches, and oh yeah, fucking World War III. The tide is rising up and crashing through. You know what it is, your favorite weekly pop culture digest here to give you that pop perspective.
To put the culture in context.
And make the mainstream make sense.
Because if we don't make sense, we don't make
dollars. Holla! At our patrons, keeping the lights on in the house and the AC running.
Enraged Peacock.
A cool cat, another AC named Slater.
Thunder Knight. Ryo. And Andrew P. Raymer.
Shout out to y'all and shout out to everybody in the chat with us today. If you in the chat, make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe at the Flood Pod on everything.
And that is on everything.
Alright, you know what it is. The show taking the news happening around you and discussing how it shapes the culture that defines you. And this week, I want to talk about...
Oh, by the way, he's Doc and I'm Ziggy. I don't know if I don't know if we actually introduced ourselves.
Did I forget that part?
Yeah,
Did I forget that part? You know why you here. You know what it is, baby. Welcome back. It's been a long gap. What? It's been 2 weeks since the last time we dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. Roundabout.
Like I said earlier in the drop, we've had Father's Day. We had Trump's disastrous birthday.
Yeah.
Let's start with the military parade. Let's start with talking about the military parade, right? Like, let's get that out of the way since, you know, that's pretty much old news at this point.
It is still...
You were out, right? You went out.
I went out. I was there for a No Kings protest.
You went to a No Kings protest.
Hell yeah, I did.
It seems like that's where all the cool kids were. If you weren't at a pride parade, right, then you were at a pride parade showing these motherfucking dictators and these goddamn fascists that, despite their best efforts to try and act tough, nobody was buying it. Not even Trump, right? Trump wasn't buying it. Rumor has it is that he went off on Pete Hegseth after the whole thing because the troops looked like they were having too much fun. They didn't look menacing enough. They weren't
even walking in sync. They were literally just like, all right, let's just stay in a line. Just stay in one line.
They was waving at people.
Don't have to step in sync.
They was smiling and shit. You know, they was enjoying being in a fucking parade.
You know what? You know what I was thinking of while watching that? And you're gonna laugh your ass off when I say this. I was thinking of the mini game in Final Fantasy VII where you go undercover as a Shinra troop and do the parade in Junin Harbor.
You fucking nerd. But I mean...
It's like, just watching me have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, that's what they looked like.
Donald
the squeaky tanks. The
stepping.
Squeaky ass tanks.
And he got SpongeBob new boot goofing is what happened. That was a bunch of new boot goofing. I don't know if that was exactly the image our dear leader was hoping to portray, because it seems like he's
It looked like an undersold festival.
sponsored
Sponsored by
down
Coinbase.
on the aggro since then, but we'll get into that. Because, as Zig alluded to earlier, we really got to get into what it is you guys have been getting into over these last couple of weeks. And oh my God, with the BET Awards happening, it's all kinds of hits on the streams right now. But we really feel like you guys have been zoning in, and we really feel like you guys have been, zoning in works.
Zoning in works. Yeah, go with zoning in.
One more. We really feel like you guys have been zoning in on the new Offset and JID drop, Bodies, pun intended. Because, oh my God, once that shit dropped, I don't understand how you could not get funky with it, right?
Well, I mean, you and I were listening to it, and
I've been listening to it nonstop.
And you said,
hit.
I'm surprised they didn't use the full drop. The full drop.
A little bit.
Do you know the name of the band from the song?
Oh my God, why would you do that?
Hey, I'm throwing one your way.
Yeah, I feel like, but you put me on the spot, and you know how that does.
Well, I put you on the spot. Do you know what the drop is?
He's clever today. Ladies and gentlemen. I should know. I feel like Kai Cenat when he dapped up Wale at the BET Awards and didn't realize who the fuck he was talking to.
God, he's like, just another mixtape. God.
Listen, forgive me. I'm young, all right? Is everybody mad at me for just being me?
It's Bodies by Drowning Pool.
I was gonna say Puddle of Mud.
You're not even. I mean, I'd give you a solid attempt for that.
For Puddle of Mud.
For Puddle of Mud. I'd give you a solid attempt for Puddle of Mud.
Listen, you know where we at. You know how we get down over here, baby.
But,
I would have known
you
that.
were saying,
in a better day, I would have
they didn't
realized
use
that.
the whole drop of the line. Let the bodies hit the.
Yeah,
and then we listened to the song, and I'm like, I'm kind of glad they didn't use that because it's too abrasive for the song itself.
So you don't feel like it would have blended well with the other gospel sample that they had?
It should have been. It should have been like if they used it, it should have been like once, and it should have been like heavily modified, but still recognizable.
I mean, that shit is still a banger though. Like I ain't gonna hold you. That might be in rotation for me, for at least till the end of the summer. It's not that there's nothing else out right now. There's actually, some pretty decent music out right now. And we don't even have to go searching in the AI decks for that. Thank you, Timberland, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. No, because there's more to actually celebrate here. But as before we get into celebration, though, I do think it is, as a pop culture podcast, it would be behooved of us to mention the passing of Ananda Lewis, right? The MTV VJ and talk show host who was part of a lot of our childhoods growing up. I would say, foundational, right? Like hosting TRL and a couple of other shows on MTV, like, that's Queen was
I'm not
a
gonna
staple.
lie, I didn't really pick up MTV until I was like 15.
Well, I mean, you're very close to Gen Z there, right? So you probably came in on the end of, and when MTV was sliding into the reruns of ridiculousness phase.
Oh my God. Let Rob Dyrdek go! He's been stuck there for years!
You probably came in around like Fantasy Factory days, right? Like you were maybe
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore time? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because of Jersey Shore.
Oh, because you started watching MTV because of Jersey Shore?
It was one of those things where it's like it's the same reason I watched Naruto.
What?
Just so I could be aware of something that everybody else was aware of.
Dog, my mind is blown, right? Because like MTV
it might have been Jack. Nope, never mind. It was Viva La Bam. It was Viva La Bam that got me.
Bam days? Okay. All
yeah.
Right. That's around like Pimp My Ride time, right? Like that's
Room all right,
Raider
so
days.
maybe like 12, 13.
Next, do you remember Next? Silent Library.
I vaguely remember Silent Library. I've seen like one episode of it.
How many episodes of Real World have you seen?
Hardly any. I just know it's like Survivor in Midtown Manhattan with less editing.
It's Survivor in Midtown Manhattan. That's a crazy, R.I.P. to Ananda Lewis, who was very open and vocal about the cause of her passing, her breast cancer, right? She had like stage 3 something or other, and chose not to pursue the double mastectomy option, right? She,
I'd rather die than have tits.
Than not have tits. I feel like
I'd rather die than not have tits.
All right, welcome back to Barstool, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Dave Portnoy,
I mean,
calm
that's an
down.
extremely reductive way to look at it.
Yes, very, very much so. That is one way to look at it. She would say that her decision to keep her tumor and try and work it out of her body in a different way was her trying to maintain her quality of life, which she considered very important to her, right? And doing things like going through chemo and surgery to remove your, a fundamental part, or what a lot of people would consider a fundamental part. Watch this crazy transition, Future Zig. Do your thing. People consider their image like a very fundamental part of who they are, and I'm not saying that that's why she decided to forego the double mastectomy, but and instead choosing to pursue more natural
remedies.
More natural remedies and avenues to deal with her tumor. But she still did a regimen of chemotherapy, but once again, that quality of life thing and that self-image, it comes into play a lot. So much so that even GQ now is doing articles reviewing. Get this. I gotta pull it out.
Shout out to GQ. I appreciate what GQ does. Good writing.
They do have good writing and pretty good reviews, right? Which is why when I saw an article for the jar size, the plastic chew tool that will give you a more manly jawline being reviewed, I was like, hey.
It's the Chad pill.
Yeah, it's mewing for gym bros.
It's the Chad pill.
Every more, according to the reviewer Graham Isidore. Shout out to Graham Isidore over at GQ. Every morning for the past 3 weeks, he has spent 5 minutes chewing on a smooth piece of plastic the size of a small egg. It's called the jar size, and at least according to hundreds of testimonials online and more than a few viral videos, continuing to chew on this little small plastic smooth egg thing for
reasons
will grow and sculpt more than 50 muscles in your neck and jawline, leaving it with a more sharper and masculine, quote unquote, appearance. Which is easy enough to laugh at, said Graham, but not when you've still got 3 minutes to go. Yeah, because I can imagine, right? Like, so an older version of this, right, is chewing like a huge wad of gum or wax, right? Like, you just chew that motherfucker and work the muscles in your jaw, right? I now what I need to know is, as a cis white male, as a het cis white male
with a rather defined jawline naturally,
at 6'3",
6'5",
6'5", my man said, "Get it right, don't cut me down 2 inches."
And give me the fact that I already have a rather defined jawline.
How does this make you feel?
It's a fucking Chad pill.
Literal.
It's a fucking Chad pill.
Don't swallow unless you're into that thing. I mean, but
like,
you probably
it's a
still
fucking
shouldn't
Chad
swallow
pill.
it.
Look, yeah, I was born with the gift of being 6'5" and dashingly handsome. I get it. I also was born with the gift of being extremely intelligent, naturally funny, and charming. I get it. I also understand that I won with the genetic lottery, being a white guy in America. I get it. But look, what I am gonna say is, I got the jawline, I don't have the muscles. Like, I don't have everything.
I mean,
I'm not perfect.
You can go to the gym and get the muscles, right? And now for, I don't know, the article did not say, and I'm not subscribed,
It is not
right?
worth chewing a rubber ball to have a jawline like mine.
Is it not worth lifting heavy things and putting them back down to have bigger muscles? I mean, listen.
What the fuck is a jawline gonna do for you?
You literally just glazed your own jaw.
Facetiously. Did I just bite my tongue against my cheek?
Instead, you could have been biting a smooth plastic egg to further define your jawline and really become the crimson shit. So what I'm saying is you were immediately...
I'd really rather define my stage voice personality.
So you're immediately throwing this in the as seen on TV bin?
Yeah. Yeah. This screams as seen on TV, like, right up there with, like, Rise coffee ads where it's like, you have cancer? Drink this mushroom coffee!
You don't immediately... Okay, like, so you don't think this could help the poor few of us that are out here walking around like Sid the Sloth? All the SpongeBob
I'm
ass
gonna
niggas
just tell you
with
to
a
live
little
your
bit of
life,
flesh.
but just know that you are chewing on a Chad pill. A Chad tab.
I feel like you're being unfair right now. Like, I feel like you're being a bit uninclusive, right? Like you're trying to gatekeep having a Chad jawline while also being like, it's not even that good. Like,
look, how else am I gonna compete with all these people who are jacked but look like human Earthworm 4? Shout out to JJK fans.
Trin. Like, you could easily just do a psych. No, don't do a cycle. I could not even begin to imagine what Dan on Zig on steroids would be like.
Most aggressively empathetic person ever.
Just that all the Magic the Gathering.
I'm sorry! I didn't consider your feelings in this situation!
Just that all the MTG tournaments flipping tables and shit.
You didn't call them by their pronoun! Table flip.
What do you mean these cards got banned this morning? Ah!
Yo, that shit has happened to me before for a tournament. But it wasn't from my deck, it was from all the other decks I had to prepare for.
Speaking of prepared for, are you guys prepared for World War III? Because we're not going to talk about that yet, but we will get there because, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, it's going there. And we are going...
Hey, spoiler alert. It's because of racism. Continue.
To take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And while we were away, the United States celebrated its third celebration of Juneteenth. That's right, the
officially.
The official celebration, right? Yes, the official.
How mad does it make you that a lot of white America didn't know what Juneteenth was or even existed until that episode of Blackish?
Not as mad as Black Mona Lisa was when she went into Kroger and saw the very, 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 very basic decorated Juneteenth cookie cakes. Yeah, they were cookie cakes. That read in the plainest of text, free at symbol.
Yeah.
Last. There was a cookie cake that literally just said free.
And like, it was in the top third of the cookie. Look, there was still plenty of room to put more typeface there.
I'm not gonna hold you.
I don't know who designed that cookie on InDesign,
I'm not gonna hold you. Kroger in Atlanta, Georgia. Count your days. That shit was so disrespectful. And look, I know there's all kinds of things we could be mad about right now, but I too would be flabbergasted if I walked past a cookie on Juneteenth that just said free on it. Like, what the fuck you mean free? Is the cookie free because I'm black? Because it better be with the fucking lack of initiative that you took. God damn.
I made sure on my set on Juneteenth, I wore my Charles Barkley t-shirt.
Shit wasn't even a chocolate chip cookie.
Also, I work at a black-owned business and didn't realize until 10:30 that it was Juneteenth, and I was at work.
Oh, you thought you was gonna have off at a black-owned business? Nah. If the way reparations work is everybody that's white at the black-owned business still has to work.
But even the black people were there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very interesting. I see why the TikTok went viral. Shout out to Black Mona Lisa, right? That shit gave me quite the laugh, bro. And to all you keyboard warriors out there hollering about, don't you got bigger shit to worry about right now? Like, it's the point was the lack of initiative, right? Is nobody's trying to march to City Hall over cookie cakes.
Or they've
right?
even had, like, nobody's even come up with a halfway decent Juneteenth marketing plan. What would be the appropriate way to market Juneteenth?
Better
transition. Is that a fucked up sentence to begin with?
Better transition. How do we feel about performative, God, what do they call it? Like performative, like holiday capitalism, right? Like, you know, this is one of the first years in recent memory that I can think of that I didn't see a bunch of rainbow flags all over the place.
Yep,
when June
me
started,
too.
right? And that kind of like ally capitalism, right? How do you feel about that now in, you know, Trump's America?
I'm wondering if it's a sense of, it's either one of two things. It's finally we don't have to do this, or it's I don't feel comfortable doing this anymore. I think it's one or the other.
Do you see it as a net positive now, or are you still like neutral on it, or do you really feel like indifferent about it, that, you know, it's just corporations trying to cash in on the visibility of a movement? Or do we think now that the missing representation really is kind of felt, like the silence is felt, right?
You want my personal opinion?
Yeah.
As in Ziggy's personal opinion? The person whose birthday is in June?
I mean, or Chat, you know, shout out to Chat. You guys can always drop by too at the Flood Pod on everything and let us know how y'all feel about it. But yes, Zig.
More spotlight for me!
Wow. I mean, once again, you're 6'5". If you went to a pride parade, I'm sure you would turn a couple heads, right?
But, like, no, I think it's messed up. But, like, I also always thought there was, like, a funny, there's a metaphor in there somewhere, joke of my birthday being at the very end of Pride.
I mean, once again,
I've gotten laughs on stage by just going up there and being like, believe it or not, I'm straight. And then the crowd laughs.
I am conflicted when it comes to the...
Would you agree with those are the only two reactions, though, for seeing less flags?
I mean, I'm with you, right? Which is why I'm conflicted about the approach when it comes to the marketing of a holiday like Juneteenth, right? It's, you know, it helps me understand a little bit the way that fundamentalist Christians do feel when they see like all kinds of Santa imagery on a holiday that's supposed to be about the baby Jesus.
Can you imagine how they'd feel if we were throwing Jesus on marketing everywhere, though? Sweet little baby Jesus on a can of Coke?
I mean,
being cradled by polar bears?
Shout out to the GOP and Pete Hegseth, right? Like, oh, dude, did you see?
Actually, I feel like a Coke can with polar bears cradling sweet baby Jesus would actually be kind of a banger.
Yeah. It would,
I feel like that would be like I would keep that shit on my fucking.
boomers would buy that shit. Like, oh my god, buy the fucking like.
Oh, I would
by
keep
the
that as a piece of
truckload.
memorabilia.
Yeah.
Like, can you believe this shit happened?
Yeah, that's definitely going in like the fucking Coke collection, right? And not that kind of chill out French Montana. No, did you see the testimonial footage that went viral of Pete Hegseth being asked the question on whether or not he gave the authorization to use lethal force on the protesters in LA?
I did not.
The representative that was questioning Hegseth at the time was using testimonial about how Trump had previously asked General Kelly, right, if they were allowed to shoot the protesters when, you know, General Kelly was the chief of staff.
And
right?
he was like, no, that's not what you should do.
Our guy Pete responded to that by being like, and I quote, "You shouldn't believe everything you read in books, Representative." I believe the woman was a representative. She's a senator. Please forgive me. You shouldn't believe everything that you read in books, Representative, unless they're the Bible.
Oh my. I don't even want to say Lord.
That was literally what she said. Her response was, "Oh my God." Oh my God. This nigga really just said that. And I believe if she had said this nigga really just said that, she might have gotten away with it. Because the statement from Pete, despite the
Would it be like a
despite
Robert
the
Downey Jr.
expletive-
thing where it'd be like, you know, you killed it, but don't do it again?
Yeah. It was appropriate. It would have been appropriate. No, it wouldn't have been appropriate. But literally though, like, yeah, no, my man said that, right? Our current chief of staff, after the GOP has railed against Islam and its jihad. But we're not going to talk about World War III yet. I just thought that was crazy, right?
But no, Los Angeles is being invaded
So as
by
far
delicious
as
tacos and hardworking car wash people.
as far as the marketing and the capitalist allyship of Juneteenth goes, Kroger, you could do a lot better. You could step it up. You could definitely step your game up there.
I mean, that one wasn't terrible because they at least used red, yellow, and green for the color scheme.
Hey, I'm cool with it, right? Because as far as celebrations of Black excellence goes,
Like,
the
all right,
25th
this goes back to the
BET
question.
Awards.
Before that,
Damn it! How you?
before that,
God
this-
damn it!
you'll still have a lead-in. What would be an appropriate thing for somebody to sell to celebrate Juneteenth?
I mean, if it ain't a black business doing it, right, it already feels conflicting, right? It's
I also said on stage as a joke, and I even told some coworkers of mine, I was like, I don't know if I should say Happy Juneteenth or I'm sorry.
what I did appreciate was all of the people who did attend Trump's military parade buying the ironic Father's Day t-shirts with the giant in bold, with the giant picture of Trump and Ivanka, with Ivanka sitting on his lap. Yeah, not realizing that memes, they have become meme, like their Lord and Savior Elon Musk. No, I'm cool with I'm not cool with Kroger, you know, doing such a lackluster representation of Juneteenth, and I honestly don't know what would be a good I don't know, fucking discounts on Martin Luther King and MLK biographies. Go read a book, nigga. Or watch what was a great representation of Black excellence, the 25th BET Awards. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about another thing Dan has obviously not tuned into. That's me. Let me not be like Terrence J and Roxy. No, I've been doing a lot of tripping down the memory lane. I've got my member berries out proudly on the table.
Well, I mean, that's probably the better, deep dive than the one that I told you I was going through. Where I mean, the deep dive I've been getting into recently is whether or not the Orioles killed the power at Camden Yards on August 13th, 1997 to preserve his streak because he was late to the stadium beating the fuck out of Kevin Costner.
Oh, man. I love how you interrupted us talking about black excellence to talk about two degenerate white men.
Isn't that... Oh, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Also, Kevin Costner and Cal Ripken are not degenerate white men, but you guys, the joke was there. It was on its face. No, I mean, from all kinds of star-studded performances to accolades and flowers being given, to an amazing hosting job by Kevin Hart, nonetheless. The BET Awards, according to USA Today, had no shortage of pause-worthy moments. And, I mean, not just, according to USA Today. And it was trending all over Twitter while it was happening. I mean, Jamie Foxx was fucking cutting up, making, he said the thing about Stevie Wonder that everybody thinks about Stevie Wonder.
That he's not really blind?
Yeah. How'd you know I was there, Stevie? And not only that, but it was the 25th anniversary of the BET Awards, and not just the BET Awards, but 106 in Park as well. The companion to we talked about TRL earlier, or we talked about Ananda, right? And her being.
Hold on.
DJ.
Did Jamie blow?
Whoa.
Did
Major boys.
Did Jamie spill the beans on Stevie Wonder because of bitterness because he played Ray Charles?
Nah, Jamie was just cutting up, man. He was truly Jamie received.
I mean, he may have been poisoned by Diddy because he has tapes of a freak off.
Jamie was in the grouping of people who were awarded the Ultimate Icon Award, an award that BET gives out to the ultimate icons.
Didn't they give it to
hip-hop
Diddy?
Culture. I don't know if Diddy has won an Ultimate Icon Award, but this year's recipients were Snoop Dogg, Kirk Franklin, Jamie Foxx, and Mariah Carey. And Jamie gave a very heartfelt reflection on his medical emergency, saying, "I can't even begin to express the love that I feel from everybody out there. I gotta be honest, when I saw the in memoriam, because BET usually does an in memoriam, I like most award shows, right? I was like, man, that could have been me," said Jamie. He previously had shared that he suffered a brain bleed that led to a stroke. Went on to say, "But I don't know why I went through what I went through, but I know my second chance. I know my second chance. I'm not gonna turn down. I'm not gonna turn down. I have so much love to give." Right, and along with that, Snoop Dogg was also awarded a Ultimate Icon.
Was he given the award before or after?
I don't remember.
That's important.
But he went on to reflect how and honor and give respects to one of the other honorees, Mariah Carey, and reflect on how he first heard Mariah Carey when he was locked up in county jail, right? And every Saturday morning the entire unit would rush to see her on TV, right? And I'm just thinking, as the only woman up here being honored, right? And also this being the first award, the BET award that Mariah Carey has also ever received, which I thought was weird. Cause
weird that she's never won one?
Yeah, it's Mariah Carey, right? But Snoop being like, "Yeah, yo, when we was locked up, you got us through," right? But that's icon status, right? That's icon status.
I mean, we'll never escape Mariah Carey. She shows up once a year for a solid month.
I mean, she's also got new music out, right? Hold on.
Now, I do want to say, I've had to follow a comic who their whole set was about how they beat cancer. And I'll tell you, that was a hard set to follow. So if, like, Snoop Dogg had to give his speech after the guy who just recovered from or fighting cancer, rough beat. Especially since Snoop Dogg's probably thought he's had this award in the bag for a decade.
Speaking of not being able to escape Mariah Carey, she celebrated her Ultimate Icon Award by debuting her new song Type Dangerous with a feature from Anderson .Paak on the drums during the performance.
Ooh, I love Anderson .Paak on the drum. Very poppy. Like the sound, not the style.
I mean, it was a full regalia. Everybody was out with high energy. Lil Wayne ushered in his new album with performances from the Carter Six, as well as Glorilla opening up her performance with a very festive rendition of Let Her Cook that featured a whole kitchen set.
Let her cook!
She also spoke on her recent feature with another Ultimate Icon Award recipient, Kirk Franklin, saying that she was nervous at first to ask Kirk Franklin, who I don't know if you know, is a gospel artist, right, to feature on one of her songs, but was very pleasantly surprised when he responded, saying, y'all know how I rap, but it was dope that he joined in along with that, which is cool because Kirk Franklin has always been looked at as a little spicy in the gospel scene, right? Like if I let you hear Stomp, you would be like, oh, okay, nah, this don't sound like, but it do sound like some church. It's very, you know, it's very gospel, right? It's very choir like.
So I would say, like, you already know, like, you've played some Glorilla for me, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I can vibe with this. But I became a fan of Glorilla when she did that feature telling the weather on the news. Did you see that one?
Nah, I missed that joint.
Yeah, Glorilla got pulled onto a local news channel to do the news. And I was like, this is amazing. In, like, the same way they have that white guy that tells the news, but he sneaks in hip-hop lyrics. Have you seen that guy?
Oh, yeah, no, I have seen that guy.
He's like, and the cold front's gonna be coming in like the wop, 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 wop.
I mean, like I said, this night had so many viral moments, right? It had Kendrick Lamar and Kai Cenat meeting for the first time. It had Kendrick Lamar maybe possibly shading Drewski. I don't know. We don't really get into that kind of messiness here, right? It led to that moment.
I mean, we've covered some wild shit.
Yeah. I mean, it led to that moment we discussed earlier on in the pod where Wale dapped up Kai Cenat, and Kai asked Wale about his switch, not realizing he was talking to Wale. But it all got cleared up. You know, Kai did eventually have to kind of, like, come to chat and be like, hey, look, man, I just...
Fuck, did he, like, confuse you with Marshawn Lynch or something?
Be out here
like...
living. He just didn't recognize who it was, but when they played Wale songs, he was like, I know Wale, right? Like, I didn't realize it was Wale. So let's get...
I love Wale.
Into a couple of the awards here, right? Like, most importantly, we'll start with Album of the Year, right? That obviously went to Kendrick Lamar, right?
I was about to say GNX.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for you to say GNX.
I mean, some sexy songs for you. Drake and Party Next Door was on there. 1111 Deluxe.
Well, they're not going to give
Brown.
Drake an award over Kendrick right now.
Doechii,
that's just bad optics.
Cowboy Carter, Glorious, and Hurry Up Tomorrow, and We Don't Trust You were all also nominated.
Wasn't We Don't Trust You the mixtape by Future and
I mean, that was a full studio album.
Yeah, by
Future and Metro Boomin.
Future and Metro.
Yeah. Best female R&B and pop artist went to SZA, right?
I will say, We Don't Trust You almost just feels like it was Metro and Future agreeing to be like the prelude to the beef. Like, oh, you want to do... All right, we'll make an album. We'll make an album the whole time that just wrecks him, and then you show up and just dunk on him.
Speaking of that season of beef... wow. Pause. Maybe, I don't know. Best male R&B pop artist went to Chris Brown.
Who'd he beat this time?
Oh, you mean who else was nominated? Well, some of the
Well,
other...
I mean, if you want to put it that way.
So the other nominees were Bruno Mars, Drake, Friday, Leon Thomas, Teddy Swims, The Weeknd, and Usher, right? Chris Brown beating out Teddy Swims, I'm sure, was probably a bit controversial, considering that is another person who you cannot fucking escape right now. Like, I don't know what your Spotify playlist like, but oh my god, them reels in fucking love with that Teddy Swims album, bro. Best group went to Future and Metro Boomin, beating out Flo, Drake, and Party Next Door, Common, and Pete Rock.
Time out. I feel like best group, you shouldn't be able to qualify unless your group has a name. You shouldn't be able to qualify as a group by Future and Metro Boomin. You should be like Fumin or something. Like, that album should have been released under like a group name.
I feel you, but I feel like there's a bit of cultural, I guess, misunderstanding here, because that's been a pretty prevalent thing in hip-hop since like the like fucking tape deck era. Like spinning on the fucking ones like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Okay, that's
Eric B and Rakim, right? Like, so
I never really considered them a group,
but
more
they
just
were
like a duo, you know?
I okay, now I feel like we're just splitting hairs, but like
I love to split hairs though.
you become a barber then. Best collaboration
I shouldn't be a barber if I can split hairs.
went to Kendrick Lamar and SZA for Luther, right? Beating out Future and Metro Boomin. And
Honestly,
Kendrick
that's
Lamar.
probably my favorite, like one of my least favorite songs on that album.
Luther?
Yeah.
I mean, that shit dominated the fucking charts.
I know, but
until,
it's one of my least favorite songs on that album.
We got 30 for 30. Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Alter Ego, Doechii and JT. Are You Even Real? Teddy Swims and Giveon. And out of a group of heavy hitters like fucking Lotto, Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Rhapsody, Sexy Red, Doja Cat, Cardi B, Doechii came out head first, best female hip hop artist of the night. What other categories? Best male hip hop artist obviously went to the best album of the year winner, Kendrick Lamar, right? Beating out Big X the Plug, Boss
And Drake.
Man, Drake, Burna Boy,
Drake continues to take losses. It's insane.
Lil Wayne, Tyler the Creator, and Key Glock, right? All artists of which I recommend you, my dear co-host, take a listen to at some point. If you have not heard any of these artists, they are all worth, putting in your rotation. Video of the year went to Not Like Us. Director of the year went to Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar for Not Like Us. Leon Thomas won Best New Artist of the Year with his debut song Mutt, which has been all over the fucking reels and radio waves lately. But
what about Shaboozey?
But baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. That's my jam. I fuck with it, actually.
Was Shaboozey nominated or was he last year?
I believe that was last year. The Dr. Bobby Jones Best Gospel and Inspirational Award went to Rain Down on Me, the Glorilla and Kirk Franklin feature that I alluded to earlier. And the Viewer's Choice Award of the night went to Residuals, Chris Brown, right? That was pretty much everything for the evening. It was, once again, like I said, another star-studded spectacle of black excellence.
Speaking of black
living
excellence,
up
let's
to
just
its
say
name.
that we are recording during Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And that there is a non-0% chance that TJ McConnell wins the Finals MVP.
Get the fuck out of here. What else do we have?
The score is currently 66-70. OKC leads with 3 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third quarter.
28 years later is leading its opening weekend, making all kinds of headlines. The biggest of which, no pun intended, seems to be everybody reacting to one of the zombies having a huge ass dog.
That doesn't surprise me. That's the type of thing the internet would immediately grab onto.
I mean,
no pun intended there either.
And I just got to thinking, is this the first time we've seen zombie full frontal in a movie? I don't think we've ever seen male zombie full frontal before.
I don't think so either. I don't think we've seen full frontal from any zombie in a movie.
Shout out to
I don't
Trump's
think we
America,
ever asked
baby.
for full frontal from a zombie in a movie.
I mean, let alone massive.
Also, it's the whole point of 28 Days Later's franchise is that they die after 28 days from starvation.
I mean, so
Why the fuck is there a big dick slinging zombie in 28 years later?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't really know what the plot of the movie is. All I can say is that it seems to be dominating its opening weekend. Just like, I kind of can't really tell you the point of Johnny Depp going on what seems to be the weirdest approach to a comeback tour in promotion of his new movie Day Drinker with Penelope Cruz.
Did you hear that Pirates of the Caribbean is allegedly going to get the old gang back together?
I mean, listen, with Johnny doing such heralding stunts as saying that he
Is not scared to say the N-word? Oh, Johnny.
was a crash test dummy for the Me Too movement. End quote. Johnny took to the Sunday Times as set out to promote the UK theatrical release of Modi, the 3 days on the Wings of Madness. Depp was referring to the allegations first leveled at him in 2016 by his ex-wife Amber Heard, who accused him of domestic violence. And I would, kind of...
I mean, our take on this is both of them suck, right?
My take on this is Johnny was a lot more of an abuser than he was willing to either admit personally or wanted the public to have him believe, because...
Or can be proven in a court of law.
No, they proved pretty good that man was abusive, bro.
But our consensus was both of them suck.
No,
right?
Yes, I never, I'm not saying that, but this is like saying that just because Cassie was into some freaky shit, she asked to be victimized by Diddy,
no, absolutely.
Right?
But
that's the narrative that people are taking online now. You know that, right? Like that in the midst of all the testimony, people are like, "Oh, Cassie liked that shit," right? Like,
you know who else is into some freaky shit? Olivia Munn, and she's fighting cancer.
So,
by the way, shout out to Olivia Munn, and way to be a strong husband. Surprisingly, paradoxically, John Mulaney.
To my point, I think when you are...
I suppose his ex-wife was fine with him until he relapsed on coke.
Living with a narcissist, I believe you probably, adapt some tendencies that might seem a bit extreme to people, right? Like shitting on somebody's pillowcases, which I believe was also proven to not be her shit. Like, it was the dog shit, which is still like, yeah, we can talk about her putting the dog shit on the pillow, but then,
Which movie did they fart in the pillow and gave someone pink eye? Was that an American Pie?
I think it's kind of cringe, right, to make your first outing back into the Hollywood space, right, and the spotlight by heralding yourself as like some kind of martyr of the Me Too movement.
Yeah,
right?
bad take.
Like, when you weren't credibly proven to be accountable in some sort, right? Like, it's not that like Amber Heard really just fucking, who has moved to like out of the fucking country and changed her name, by the way.
And appearance, I think.
Johnny has not. So let that sink in. While we're sitting here are debating on whether or not they were both as toxic as one another.
I mean, they were a toxic couple.
Yes, nobody's arguing they weren't a toxic couple. But what I'm saying is the idea that Johnny kicking off his debut back out into Hollywood, right? But like taking the martyred man approach.
Yeah, bad take.
Is like really like, but I mean, in Trump's America, it's fitting, right? Like
it's fitting, but a bad take.
That's where we're going. That's the flavor that we're taking. You expect that's what's supposed to make me want to go see Day Drinker, right? Like, which also
fitting,
very very wild choice. Who knows?
But this guy has also been in 2 Hunter S. Thompson film adaptations. Right. So,
and you want me to believe you're not a narcissist.
And he was in Blow. We're talking 2 Hunter S. Thompson, and then Captain Jack Sparrow as a character.
It's kind of like Jim Jones leaning into it and really egging on the debate that he's comparable and just as relevant as Nas. Right? I don't know if you saw this argument take over the internet recently, but Jim was on an episode of Joe and Jada Kiss Fat Joe's podcast, right? And we got to talk about Fat Joe here in a minute, too. When he ignited a heated back and forth debate over whether or not he had surpassed Nas in relevance as far as, like, hip-hop and the culture was concerned. Asking people to really getting into it and being like, nah, fucking pull the billboard, yeah, because it's a bunch of bullshit, right? Nah, I mean, pull the Billboard stats up. This nigga said he got entries, right? Like, mad numbers.
All right, let
mad
me tell you
numbers
this.
on the board, platinum plaques, gold plaques, and he said with or without Dipset, right? He talking with or without Dipset. If you fucking line the numbers up, Jim Jones is more relevant to the game and the culture in 2025 than Nasir the Godson himself, right? Who literally just fucking, we were talking about the BET Awards, right? Like, Nas just took like a bunch of fucking Album of the Year awards home for the like King's Disease and shit that he's been doing.
Yeah, like
with
I heard the inescapable Stephen A. Smith even said something, like he put like a list out there. Someone tweeted it a question about ranking these rappers, and he was like, when's the last time Nas put out music? And I was like, Nas put out music like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, no, somebody really, like, you know how the internet do. When you ask them to pull the numbers up, people on the internet got time, right? Like, the remaining few people on the internet who aren't bots still got time.
Like when LeBron was talking about the whole ring culture thing, which I'm sure you saw like a snippet of somewhere online, and he said Peyton Manning only won 1 Super Bowl. I immediately saw that, and I was like, LeBron, he won 2. He won 2.
Yeah, nah, the numbers can't really be compared, Jim, and that's no disrespect to Jim Jones, even though the way he out here caping for the YNs.
Here's why he's not on the same level with me to Nas, and that's because when you said Jim Jones, I had to double check myself and not think John Jones, because I saw a clip of John Jones, somebody bumping him at an airport.
Oh, he retired now too, right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, see, that's, once again, you clearly, I mean, you just exposed yourself for not being there, right? Like, you wasn't.
No, I mean, I know who Jim Jones is, but when you said Jim Jones, like, he's so, like, not at the forefront of my mind.
I mean, listen, you know,
I had him confused with John Jones.
There was a time, right, where, I mean, Baldwin had the airwaves on fire, right? Summer with Miami was crazy. Like, Jim been out there, certified gangster with Game, right? Like, that was a lot of people's, like, first introduction to the Game, the rapper, right?
At least I didn't confuse him with Chipper Jones or John Paul Jones.
That would, no, obviously not. That would have been wild, right? But like we was talking about like 106 and Park, because you know it was also the 25th anniversary of 106 and Park, and that, like, you know, the Dipset run was a fundamental part. Like if you was coming home and catching 106 in Park in the afternoon, then like yeah, you definitely seen Jim getting the spins in, right? Like so, but the idea that this nigga is more relevant than Nas, who is still currently dropping music, right?
Yep.
So it's like
It's just suit rap.
and then when all the while. He seems to, and I won't say he's ducking Pusha T, right? But like you say crazy things about Push, right? Like that you doubt his credibility when it comes to the kind of like business talk that Push talk, right? You are saying stuff in interviews that like you don't think Ace Trumpets is really like that, while everybody else is glazing it, right? Like I don't know if you've heard Ace Trumpets yet, but the clips are back with Pharrell in full production. The album is set to drop sometime in July, I believe. And 2 singles have hit the airwaves so far, So Be It and Ace Trumpets, where Push has taken time and Malice have both taken time to make their stance known on how they feel about the current state of the game, specifically doing heat checks on artists like Jim Jones, Kanye West, Drake, and even Travis Scott most recently being one of the more trending ones. You know, Push saying quotably, what is it? You cried in front of me, you died in front of me, Calabasas took your bitch and your pride in front of me.
God, Pusha is
right?
Pusha is a murderer.
No, what's so funny is Push is like, I'm not even really a bully. Like, I'm just, you know, people talk about me. I don't like, so the whole Travis
He's like,
Scott
why
thing,
are you gonna bully me? Why do you go at me? I used to sell coke.
Yo, man's is like, I just be wearing my clothes and minding my business, and he, you know, felt like he needed to address the situation.
Coke no more.
He felt like, that's what I'm saying. Like he felt like he needed to address the situation, and people.
You know the meme of the 2 super muscular arms like dapping up. I feel like that's what it was like when Pusha T met Jeezy.
So one of the bigger pieces of news that came out of this,
They're like, yo, you're the snowman? Yo, I'm a Pusha. Boom.
Aside from the shot taking and name calling, right? Name calling was the initial news that Pusha T had been dropped from his label deal with Def Jam. The clips had been dropped from their label deal with Def Jam after refusal to have a Kendrick Lamar verse edited. Allegations were that Def Jam were really pushing for some lyrics to be changed up that were recorded, yeah, and obviously the stance taken by the Clips and the Pharrell and the team were like, nah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But it was later revealed that the call was really coming from UMG, right, who is currently dealing with
a Drake lawsuit or 2
as it is. Right, so the Clips walked away from their deal with Def Jam being picked up by Rock La Familia, having their album distributed under, you know, the courtesy of Hove the God. Right now, with that being said, it's expected that there will probably be. I mean, look, if you are threatening dropping an artist from a label over something a feature artist said on a song, you would think that it would be pretty inflammatory or incendiary, right? Like,
yeah, this is also Trump's America.
I mean, also UMG is currently in the middle of a lawsuit with Drake, right? Who has proven to be pretty litigious, or not litigious. What's the
bitch
made?
Bitch made. Yeah.
Bitch made. Yeah. So, like, you know, if Kendrick just comes back and spins on the body one more time, while Drake is out here, spins on the body. I mean, maybe I don't know. I might let you have that bar. Anyway, Drake is currently out here dropping subliminals like he is gearing up for another album release after his run with Party Next Door, and what everybody is speculating to be called the Iceman album in reference
And
to
nobody
some.
cares.
Well, I mean, now I feel like.
Significantly less people care.
Yeah, fair enough, right? Even though Drake was nominated in all of those BET categories that he
How
could
many
be
did he beat
featured in.
Kendrick on?
The point is Drake is still, despite the battle with Kendrick Lamar, a pretty relevant artist, right? So, and everybody is anticipating the return of Champagne Papi and what form he will actually carry himself in, right?
Back to club bangers.
Well,
Quentin, get ready.
we're clearly trying with some sexy songs for you, right? Like Nokia, I mean, had the streams rolling, right? So it's not like Drake is an irrelevant artist, and let's not be 12 here. If Drake drops a banger, the fucking streams will forgive him Kobe, right? Like,
Yeah. Also, fuck you. But yeah.
It's interesting. I am in anticipation, right? Because it's when the last time you heard it, like, you know, the clips have been, I mean, Malice himself, right, has been MIA for a long time. Push has been on the scene, but hasn't dropped anything since, like, the story of Adidon, right? What initially started the whole...
Yo, no, he made that McDonald's diss track for Arby's.
So
Which was actually a banger.
I'm interested to hear, and he's with Pharrell again, right? So I'm interested to hear how this next album will play out. Pusha T, like I said, also taking shots at Jim Jones and his constant fight to remain in the spotlight. Jim Jones both alongside Johnny Depp, taking weird sides. It's looking cringe out there, folks.
Speaking of looking cringe, the Oklahoma City Thunder are currently up 84-68 with 11 minutes in the fourth quarter.
So on that note, do we talk?
Take a break. All right, if we're dropping bombs, let's start with some Woj bombs, even though Woj retired, but still.
Crazy
Kevin
foreshadowing.
Durant
Crazy
just gotten
foreshadowing.
traded again, this time to the
Again.
Houston Rockets.
Hey, shout out to the Houston Rockets then, I guess. So what is the franchise getting ready to, because off mic you were saying, like, they don't really have anybody else?
Yeah,
So
like they were
are
a team, they were like a good collective team effort the way the Pacers are, but they didn't have a player that could actually, what's the word? Win the game.
Yeah.
So, like, they traded Jalen Green, who was the player who was notorious for being able to put 30 points up one night and 7 points the next.
Right, inconsistency.
Yeah, and he did it in the playoffs. It was like a huge explosion, and then 6 points, and they got knocked out by the Warriors.
Sounds foreshadowing.
So they traded him to the Suns, along with Dylan Brooks, who's basically the irrational confidence guy who tries to bully everybody of the NBA. Like he was like, I don't respect LeBron. I don't respect anybody unless they give me 40. And then LeBron just sunned the fuck out of him in the next game of the playoffs like 2 years ago. So they traded him and the 10th pick in this year's draft and Jalen Green to Phoenix for Kevin Durant. And like I said, this year the Rockets were second in the West, and they didn't have a player who could win the game. They didn't have one of those, and now they have one of the best to ever do it. However, I'm just upset because I wanted him to go to San Antonio, because San Antonio is my second favorite team. Like, I always rep Boston, but, like, San Antonio is actually closely right behind.
Got you. Yeah, no, so it's very clear that they are setting themselves up for a position to build a franchise around KD.
No. Kevin Durant is 37 at this point.
Nah, so you're like, there's no setting up that, right? So what do you
there
think
is no setting up a franchise around Kevin Durant.
So what do you think the move is?
They think they have a championship caliber team. They just didn't have somebody who could, win the game.
So they're mighty ducking it.
I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Like I said, they got to the second seed.
Yeah,
in the
they
East,
had
but
everything. They just need that magical,
when you really needed somebody to just be like, okay, get me 2 points. They didn't have anybody.
So
now they have Kevin Durant. Okay, Kevin Durant, get me 2 points.
Kevin
Durant is like, okay, I could do that. That's easy. I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Easy money sniper, baby. Listen,
That's definitely one of the coldest nicknames, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Easy money, or no. That's the one that he has his Instagram title. The one that he's had a nickname for a really long time, but like until this last Olympics, he was like, all right, I finally own it. But the Slim Reaper.
Well, now,
that's one of the coldest nicknames.
Now,
the Slim Reaper?
The Slim Reaper is Durant Ex Machina. At least that is what
I like that one.
They are hoping. And you know, lots of people are shooting their shot, right? Speaking of shooting their shot, our dear leader has put his full throat in to prove his loyalty to Benjamin Netanyahu and gone all the way in on what is, at this point, an illegal war with Iran. That's right. If you don't know, now you know. I don't know how the fuck you don't know. You must really be living under a rock because you're
like
some kind of...
we are legitimately your main source of news. You probably should pay attention to the rest of the news, because this podcast is significantly less funny if you don't. And let's be honest, it's true.
I mean, I feel like we do a good job of, IL5ing things in context, in a humorous...
So you say ELI5? I say Eli 5.
Yeah, Eli
I say
5.
Eli 5.
Yeah.
Some people say ELI 5, but I like Eli 5.
Explaining it like you're 5, right?
Yes.
In the podcast.
Yes.
Starring Doc and Ziggy. Shout out to chat, make sure you like and follow at the Flow Pod on everything.
And that's on everything.
While you can. Because,
I'm not saying hear the door being kicked in.
I'm not saying World War III kicked in. Oh man, did you see Stephen Miller talking about like their plan to completely restructure the I guess the foundational purpose of education in America? Like, it's just
no.
straight up indoctrination. It's literally just straight up indoctrination. Like all kinds of like, not
like we don't need no education kind of.
Yeah, dog. I mean, literally saying shit like
we don't need thought control.
Straight up Project 2025 shit. I mean, stuff they've already been saying that they, they will remove the funding for any schools that they feel like are pushing some kind of agenda that is un-American, quote unquote.
Steven! Leave those kids alone!
Teaching kids their civil liberties and things like that. I mean, like, probably literally sending kids to juvie for not saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
We need another brick in his wall.
And, we're kicking off our techno-Christo-fascism with a full-on war in the Middle East. Supporting the state of Israel and its never-ending quest to make everybody wonder if Kanye was right about how Hitler...
I have a question. Whose job is it to declare war in the government?
Yeah, and is
Whose job is it, Doc? Please tell me.
Oh, you mean for our listeners
Yes. Whose job is it to declare war in the government?
I mean, we've been through this. If you're old enough to remember 9/11, then you would remember that a big part of 9/11 was Congress arguing for
2 years
on whether or not to go to war.
And then we decided to go to war with Iraq?
Not Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia.
We ended up there, though. But not Saudi Arabia. We're now taking a lot of that money for golf. And apparently now, the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, by the way, who also got sold for $10 billion. Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't get sold for $10 billion. Their valuation is $10 billion.
The valuation of this tactical strike on Iran's nuclear facilities by the Donald Trump administration has yet to really show itself. A lot of people are saying this puts the country and especially our soldiers at an unnecessary threat risk, and Don and them are kind of like, we was already at risk. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu came out the other day and said that it's, America is in imminent danger if they don't do anything about Iran. Now, to the, as per normal, when it comes to conservatives' approach to anything, their flaunting of transparency seems to be rather obscure because they can't really seem to provide any credible evidence that America was in any imminent danger, nor could they actually provide, as a matter of fact, the opposite of which has been provided, that Iran even had any nuclear testing shit going on.
We found that out a lot earlier than Iraq.
Not to say that Iran didn't have nuclear facilities, or admittedly the capability.
They had more after Trump ripped up the nuclear deal that Obama put into place.
Oh, you mean the Paris Peace Accords?
Yeah.
The terrible deal. We could get a much better deal, and by much better deal, I mean we just send B-52 bombers over there and bomb the shit out. I'm almost in as much anticipation for the fallout from this as I am from the Clips album, right?
Do you know who is not at the
We're
nuclear
back, baby.
sites in Iran? All of the terrorist groups that they are funding. Tens of thousands of terrorists, ready to go. I mean,
the argument that Iran was an imminent threat, I feel like doesn't exactly hold a whole lot of water when you really look into the fact that they were kind of playing ball with being open and transparent with letting everybody. And now I guess you can argue on whether how open and transparent they were being, but it didn't seem like they were being antagonistic to like playing the game, right?
And I mean, we've already seen some people on the right being antagonistic to the idea. If you look at Tucker Carlson grilling Ted Cruz.
I mean, Tucker Carlson doing
we don't have to give it to him. We don't have to give it to him.
No, we don't. But like, it does make me mad though, because now I feel like because Tucker Carlson's interview and tweets are going viral with him being like
smarmy Tucker Carlson,
like kooky Tucker, as Trump is saying. No, but like really like putting like pressure on the like MAGA base, right? Like really putting like pressure on the MAGA administration.
What if he did this when he still had a job at Fox?
It's not even that. I saw that shit and I was like, look, liberal media, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's literally not that, like, at what point? This is why they get to talk the way they do. And if liberal media starts doing it, fully fucking admittedly, Tucker Carlson gets to go, oh, they didn't have the balls until I did. Right? Because that's it. They're out here playing civility. Like, we're fucking caping for Joe Biden, knowing he's doing the whole full Reagan shit. Like, his mind is
Man has cancer!
Gone. Okay, sure. Then why fucking pretend like he was capable of running for president again? Why not give Kamala the fucking room to run a full-fledged campaign, not just 3 fucking months? Why not hold a goddamn primary?
That's where I was gonna go.
Literally. I mean, it's...
That way we could be angry that it's Gavin Newsom.
If it was... Thank you. Right? Like, fucking smarmy Gavin Newsom is fucking
like,
running punches and rolling up his
Gavin
sleeve.
Newsom has no morals, no ethics,
none,
and no guidelines, but we know he fucking hates Donald Trump.
And he ain't gonna let nobody talk shit about what he's doing to California. That's my mess. What did he say? He was like, where you from? Arizona? Your murder rate is double ours. Shut up and sit down. Like, dude, where is that energy? Like, that's all I'm saying, right? Like, shout out to, like, you know, AOC and Bernie Sanders and the Rashida Tlaib and all of them, right? Jasmine Crockett, like the people who really on the left who've really been like bringing the fucking fight. Zohran Mamdani, right, who let fucking Cuomo have it the other day, and this like that election for New York City mayor is getting so close, dude. It's tight. It's got Cuomo's balls in a fucking knot.
I mean, they did just arrest one of the leading candidates.
Yeah, Brad Lander. Like that's what I'm like. And you know, and I got feelings about our guy Cory Booker releasing a book immediately after his little stunt on the floor, right? You know, I guess get your money, G, go off, but like,
I will tell you that wasn't his idea.
That's bullshit. The book came out.
But he immediately agreed to it.
No, they was writing that book.
That was not his idea, but he immediately agreed to it. That was a marketing person's idea.
If it wasn't written by AI, the book came out way too fast. The book came out way too fast. They was writing that book because they knew he knew he was gonna do it. And he was like, and I'm about to sell this fucking book. But that's it. The Democrats look like they're in it for the check. I bet you the book was ready
earlier, and then he came up with the idea, and they were like, let's delay the book release.
Don looked like he in it for the fucking pride of everything, and that's what they believe. That's what they are willing to put all their money on, right? Because they want a culture shift. They spent the last 2 decades bitching about culture war shit, right? Like, and they bullied social justice warriors into therapy, right?
To be fair, some of them probably needed it.
All of the pink-haired warriors, that pink-haired pixie Karens that we had out there fighting for the trans youth.
It's normally blue hair that they complain about. It's blue hair.
Yeah. Like,
Not pink, it's blue. It's blue hair that bothers me.
And now we have nothing, right? And I'm not saying that we should settle for Anthony Wieners or like we should stop completely like purity testing the people that we choose to like lead our movement. But goddamn, dude, when you weed out all the fighters because you want to be inclusive, guess what? Now we ain't got shit, and now we about to be stuck in fucking World War III and the middle of a goddamn civil war.
All
So,
because
like,
Trump got made fun of by a brown person.
Yo, I literally, I have my own theory that he wouldn't have bombed Iran had his parade gone over better. They all had way too much fun at
He's
his
like,
military
see, you guys
parade.
didn't believe our military is strong.
Yep.
Look how strong our military is!
Literally. And I just gotta say that
You didn't do your fireworks on my birthday. I'm gonna do my own fireworks.
I don't know what y'all think, but none of this shit
Is normal.
But what should be normal by now is
subscribing to the Flood Pod on Patreon. And you'd think I would say to buy all your Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood board games, and card game supplies at tokenmtg.com. But I will say that I went to their pre-release for Final Fantasy Magic and registered online
and tried to use
and tried to use the promo code Ziggy, and it did not work.
Yo, shout out to Token MTG though for being an early supporter of the podcast. We do appreciate y'all.
I will say they forgot that promo code even existed.
Yep.
Until I reminded them, like 2 years ago.
And it's defunct now. So if you use it, don't expect to get a discount. But thank you for shouting out the pod. You can follow us at the Flood
Part
Pod
of me
on
thinks
everything.
that like they forgot about it and then got pissed off that someone bought a fuck ton of shit and used the promo code Ziggy, and they're like, "What the fuck is this from?"
And that's on everything. Shout out to the patrons and Rage Peacock.
AC Slater, coolest cat name. What's that? The guy's name who played AC Slater? Mario. The coolest cat name, Mario Lopez.
Hey, Thunder Knight.
Ryo and Andrew P. Raymer.
You guys don't know how important it is that you donate every month and that you listen. Shout out to all the listeners in the chat. Make sure y'all holler back and let us know you listen and let us know what your favorite part of the episode was. Like, share, subscribe, and we will be back at y'all next week with more hot takes. Fuck Donald Trump, fuck RFK Jr.
A-Cab.
And James Harden.
Of course, fuck James Harden. Always fuck James Harden. Fuck that guy. Shave your goddamn beard, you dirty asshole.
Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about Black Stuff?